All right, so here is the source code for my conversational search application. So I have opened the entire folder called Conversational Search on my machine. So I can just walk you through some of the folder. My virtual env is a virtual environment that we're going to use in this code. Then the data files are the file that we want to ingest so that we can do search on it. So I have different type of files called PDF. It's like a Acme company profile. Then I have a file called security because the company specializes in AI for security. So it's information about what the company does. Then we also have information about the annual report of how the company does. And there are a couple of case studies, one for the fintech client, another one for the healthcare client. There are also instructions on how to onboard a client, what is the cloud infrastructure overview, why do we need cybersecurity, how to do disaster recovery. So basically, this is information about the company called Acme Company, who specializes in AI security. So it has the testimonials from the client, then the information about what the company does, what is their future roadmap, what are their internal policies, what are their products, and things like that. So it's information about the entire company, right? And we are going to, and this information is available in PDF format, TXT format, and MD format. And our ingestion process understands all of these files, and we are going to create semantic embeddings from these files, and user can perform conversational search on those files about the company. So it's a kind of an enterprise search um, in the conversational fashion. Okay. Then I also have this app.py file, which basically is a Streamlit app, right? So it contains the entire UI code, where user can ask a question, and our search application looks into the embedding index, find the answer and shows it. And I also have a file, a code called build index, which basically it's a one-time process which basically scans through all these files, uses appropriate library to read from PDF, MD files, or TXT files, chunks those files and create embeddings for those files and put into files index so that we can do search on it, right? So now let's show few things in action to you. All right, let's look at our documents. This is my Visual Studio Code that has entire code for a conversational search. Again, I am just using open source libraries and open source libraries for this, nothing fancy. So I'm going to delete the information so that we can, some of the index that we can show, I can show you everything from the beginning. So the code structure is basically we have the data, which are a bunch of files for a company, fictitious company called Acme, which has information about Acme profile, what does company specializes in AI for security, a couple of testimonials or case studies from the fintech and healthcare client. What are the different offerings that the company has? What are the internal IT policies? How does it make sure it takes care of the sustainability? Who are the partners and all? So it's an information about an enterprise company, right? And this is the information we are going to index and enable the conversational search on it. Then I have a file called build index file. So it is, so in the data, if you see, there are three types of file that we can index: PDF, TXT, and a dot markdown file. These are the three different type of file that we can index. The build index code, this file, basically what it does is, as I've explained in my blog, so the goal of this file is going to scan this entire data folder, the each and every file it reads. It's going to chunk the file into smaller chunks. Think of chunks as a kind of a paragraphs. And for each chunk, it's going to create an embedding, and it's going to store those embeddings in a local index. And that is only one-time activity you need to do whenever a new data file is added or any existing data files are changed, right? Once the index is created, then we will run a Streamlit front-end app that can do conversational search which runs on the top of this index, right? So now uh, let's create the index first. Okay. So create the index. We are going to run this Python build index.py file. So what's going to do is it's going to start creating a local index by running this chunking on this lines folder. So it's going to create that index into the index store file, and it is giving you the summary of we have indexed all the files. Total number of chunks are 95, and this is the file index size that it creates, right? So now we have the index. We should be able to run the Streamlit app. So let's do that. So this is the code. We run the Streamlit run app.py file. The entire code is here. So this code basically will give you the front end where we can start showing conversation search, right? So let's run that and see what happens now. So it should launch a front end app, which is hopefully here. Okay. So now, this is the Acme Clarity app. You can ask a bunch of questions here and it will start doing a conversation search. And there are a bunch of hyperparameters on the left that we can use to configure and improve the relevancy, right? So it has configuration like how many passages you want to retrieve after ranking, how many candidates you want to consider for k nearest neighbor. For then you know to have a diversity, you can implement maximum marginal relevance, and you can adjust the parameter. And what is the cap you want to have per document, right? How much of the document you want to index, things like that. So let's start showing some search in action. Let's say what is companies expertise. Okay. So it means now we understand that it's not any general company because we are doing a conversational search for this only on this enterprise. It's a kind of a RAG based search, right? So it's a retrieval augmented generate summary, which means it only answers the questions in the context of the document we have indexed, not a general like a world knowledge. So now it tells you, the assistant tells you that, hey, the company specializes in the advanced security and compliance solutions through a set of integrated products, blah blah blah. It also gives you the next set of questions that you can potentially ask as a follow-up question, or you can type your own question, right? So let's see what are specific metrics that it uses. So it's a conversational search. It understands um, that we are asking about the same company. For effectiveness of effectiveness of security solution. Okay, so let's see. So it should follow through and it should tell me about so these are the metrics. It tells me like alert fatigue reduction, lateral movement, narrowing of that, data protection, DDoS attack absorption, and things like that, right? So that's good. So let's ask more question like does it have like about its client? Does it have any healthcare clients? So yes, it does have a healthcare client because we saw one of the testimonials from the healthcare, not testimonial, the case study about the healthcare client. And we can ask more questions about that. So let's see, what about data security policy? Uh, Summarize. Let's say I don't want to go everything. I just want to summarize its data security policy for me, right? So the advantage of this is it's not looking at the world and it's giving me general information. It's looking only for the documents of this document, particular company, it's showing me, right? And one good thing that you can see, so it's showing me the summary of its security policy, and talks about data privacy, cyber security, guidance, and who are the stakeholders for it, and things like that. And these are the key components of the policy. The one good thing that you can note is also it gives me a citation about where the information is coming from. So it is showing me the references here, right? So number one, number two, and those references are implemented, are be shown here. So it exactly shows you from which document the information is extracted, so that the trust of the user on this document becomes highly important. So as you can see, this is a conversation search for an enterprise. You can index all the document, put it in the local index, and then you can start a conversation search. And I'm using the open source library, like the not it's open source, but you have to pay for subscription, because the API key for Open API does cost you. You need to have a subscription, and they will charge you based on the tokens that you use. Okay, so you need to be aware of that cost as well. But it's just a simple implementation of a conversational search for an enterprise. Thanks and bye.